ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Hare Krishna. So, I welcome all of you for Prabhupada's purport session. So here we are seeing from Lord Kapila. He is giving a very nice explanation, and according to him, he says that how a living entity is getting entangled, especially by performing these fruitive activities, sacrifices. He is so much identifying. He will go to heavenly planets, he will enjoy there. And then he says, those who are intelligent and purified are completely satisfied. So they take to Krishna consciousness. And then he tells that acting with detachment and without a sense of proprietorship or false egoism. So this is actually what is a devotee. He don't identify himself with the material pleasures. And then he further explains that how the creation ends, where Brahma he takes the living entities who are in Brahmaloka with him, and then who yogis who are detached from the material world by practice of breathing exercise, control mind, reach the planet of Brahma, and they enter into the body of Brahmas. From there, they get liberated. Then he says that by devotional service, direct shelter of the Supreme Personality of God, who is seated in everyone's heart, so that can be attained. Then in next these three shlokas, he says that now he says that these personalities like Marichi, Kumaras, they all come again at the time of creation, when the interaction of three modes of mental nature begins. Brahma, who is the creator of this cosmic manifestation, who is full of Vedic knowledge, and the great sages, who are the authorities of the spiritual path and yoga system, come back under the influence of time factor. They are liberated by their non-fruitive activities and attain the first incarnation of Purusha. So they also enter, but again and again they come. So we discuss it. Sometimes they are the different personalities also, but name will be same. And persons who are too addicted to this material world execute their prescribed duties very nicely and with great faith. They daily perform all such prescribed duties with attachment to the fruitive results. So they are very good in performing their prescribed duties very nicely with great faith and with attachment to fruitive results. So that is the main thing, that there is attachment to the result. Why attachment to result? This is actually the enjoying mentality we all have. This is enjoying mentality, which is very strongly rooted in all the living entities. So in this, the following six verses, Srimad Bhagavatam criticizes persons who are too much attached. And it is enjoyed in the Vedic scripture that those who are attached to the enjoyment of material facility have to sacrifice and undergo certain ritualistic performances. They have to observe certain rules and regulations in their daily life to be elevated to the heavenly planets. It is stated in this verse that such persons cannot be liberated at any time. Those who worship demigods with the consciousness that each and every demigod is separate god cannot be elevated to spiritual world. So this is they are having this unclear understanding about the Supreme Lord. And Rajasa Kunta Manasa Kamatmano Ajitendriya Pritnya Yajnatya Anudhinam Griheshva Abhiratasvahya. Such persons, impelled by the modes of passion, are full of anxieties and always aspire for sense gratification due to uncontrolled senses. So, this is referring to all the people of Kali Yuga. Most of the people are in mode of passion. And what are the symptoms? They are uncontrolled senses and always aspire for sense gratification. And the result is what? They are in full of anxieties. So if we are in all these things, we should know we are affected by mode of passion. So this is actually what is affecting all of us. They worship the forefathers. That means they do all the Shraddha ceremony and busy day and night improving the economic conditions of their family life or their social or national life. They want to improve the economy of the country and they are very happy when they hear about the progress of country. They say, yes, our country is nicely progressing and our family is nicely progressing. We have made nice property, we have purchased nice houses and all. So this is actually how the people are busy in this. They are all affected by mode of passion. That means what is important here, na? The values which they consider important value system. It varies from mode to mode. So because the people are in mode of passion, their value systems are also like that only. Their value system is what is the value system? Economic development and sense gratification. So their sense gratification and economic development are considered important if we are affected by mode of passion. Sense gratification and economic development. This is for passion. And now when it comes to goodness, then the value system is different. For them, knowledge and regulation, for these people, happiness is in this. For goodness, it is regulation and following dharma. That means you follow some standards in life. Like when Lord Ram, like people who are dharmic people, sometimes they have to give up their sense gratification, but still they follow dharma because it is goodness. They say, how can you? I have to keep my word. That is more important for them from sense gratification. Are you just, I have given a word that I will pay, I will give this, I will give that, and I will do it. But later on, you come to know that you are not capable of doing, but you cannot go back from your word. He said, no, I have given my word. So they are very strict with their dharma. Why? That is the conditioning they have. That is goodness. That is values. And how can you just say that I cannot do, you lie? No, I cannot do it. So that is the value system is different. And when it comes to ignorance, their value system, the value system is based on what? It is based on faith. So here we have great faith. That is faith. Faith on what? Faith on what will give me happiness. That is the faith they have. So this is what they understand that gives me happiness in passion. And whereas in goodness, they feel that this will give me happiness. What will give me happiness if I have a very regulated life and I am following dharma? That will give me happiness. So this is their faith. And in passion, the faith is on sense gratification and economic development. So that is their faith. And ignorance, they are lazy and dull. So they feel if I drink, that means laziness or intoxication and destruction. So this is actually gives them faith that they want to destroy things, destroy people, destroy everything. And nowadays, if the movies and all, they show that how there is a destruction. A person is coming and is killing so many people. He is ruthlessly murdering the protagonist of the movie. He is the most ruthless fellow. He kills maximum people, and he's the but people like to see that violence because that is their, they feel that there is some pleasure in seeing violence. And nowadays they have this matches, they fight with each other, and then people like to see that. That is because that is ignorance. They feel that there is a pleasure in the destruction, killing of animals, intoxication. So all these things basically is a value system based on modes of nature. And then such people are called Trivargika because they are interested in three elevating processes. They are averse to the Supreme Personality of Godhead who can give relief to the conditioned soul. They are not interested in the Supreme Personality's pastimes, which are worth hearing because of his transcendental powers. This is because we are hearing because we feel we have some faith here. Basically, any activity we are doing, it is based on taste, and taste is based on the modes. So action is based on taste. What type of taste I have, it determines what type of action I am going to do, and that is determined based on the modes. And this is also, we can say, faith. Faith in the sense, if I get taste in something, then I develop faith in that. Like say I know mango juice is very good. I know mango juice will give me pleasure. Why? I got taste in mango juice. So I got a pleasure in that. And now I have faith in mango juice. And then I perform the activity of drinking mango juice. And that is because I am in mode of goodness. Say if I am in mode of passion, then I may take the mango juice with something else. And if somebody is in mode of ignorance, instead of taking mango juice, he'll ferment it and he will make into some type of I don't know, different beverage and he may take it. So the point is, the action is all these things are connected in that way. We got taste, we got faith in that, and then we perform the action. So according to Vedic thought, there are four elevating principles, namely religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, evolution. Persons who are simply interested in material enjoyment make plans to execute prescribed duties. They are interested in three elevating processes of religious rituals, economic elevation, and sense enjoyment. By developing their economic conditions, they can enjoy material life. Materialistic persons, therefore, are interested in those elevating processes which are called Trivargika, Dharma, Artha, and Kama. So this is means elevating process. Such materialistic persons are never attracted by the Supreme Personality of God. Rather, they are antagonists towards Him because they feel it's an obstruction. They have to give to somebody, share with somebody. No, they should help me to get my things done. That is what is the formula for them. They may not like Supreme Lord because according to that philosophy, I am not the enjoyer. Supreme Lord is the enjoyer. So which is very difficult for them to accept. And the Supreme Personality of God is described Hari Medha. So he who can deliver one from the cycle of birth and death. Materialistic persons are never interested in hearing about the marvelous pastimes of the Lord. They think that they are fiction and fictions and stories, and the that supreme personality of God, it is also man of material nature. So this is their understanding. And Lord has performed many such pastimes, but Prabhupada writes, they may be interested in the activities of a great politician or a great rich man of the world or some celebrities, but they're not interested in the transcendental activity. Like people open newspaper or people are watching some things. Mostly they are interested to follow somebody, and they subscribe to somebody's channel and it said, follow me. Instead of following Supreme Lord, they want to know what the celebrity is doing, what did they eat, whom they got married, whom they got divorced with, and what is their opinion on some issues. It's all foolishness. The person who is speaking is foolish, and the person who is following him is also greater fool. We don't need opinion of anybody. We need only opinion of our acharyas. Why we need opinion of these materialistic people? Because their senses are imperfect. How does it make a sense, to get their opinion? Even if we know, even if they have made a good opinion, and even if it is something of this material world, still it is material world only. It does not make any difference. We may want to know something very basic. After that, we don't need to go any detail of all the things that are happening in the world because it does not make any sense. It's just a waste of time, and it is only going to suck our energy. And that's why Raghunath Das Goswami says that Asadvata Vesha Shatru. It's like a harlot who is sucking the energy and blood of the living entity, especially our consciousness. That's why we are not interested. But people are interested in all these things, unfortunately. Nonam Daivena Vihata Yechachutakata Sudham Hitva Shanvantya Sadkhatha Purusham Iva Vadbhujaha. Such persons are condemned by the supreme order of the Lord because they are averse to the nectar of the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are compared to stool-eating hogs. They give up hearing the transcendental activities of Lord and indulge in hearing of the abominable activities of materialistic persons. So this is how they are compared to. They are compared to stool-eating hogs. Raghunath Das Goswami uh, compared with a going to harlot. But here Sude goes, sorry, Kapla is compare them stool-eating hogs because they are not taking nectar, but instead they are taking, which is very abominable activities of materialistic person. Prabhupada also use very nice refined words to explain such personalities. And it is said everyone is addicted to hearing of the activities of another person, whether a politician or a rich man or an imaginary character whose activities are created in a novel. There are so many nonsensical literature, stories, and books of the speculative philosophy. Materialistic persons are very interested in reading such literatures, but when they are present with genuine book of knowledge like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Purana, and other scriptures of the world such as Bible and Quran, they are not interested. Prabhupada also is in one way appreciating Quran and Bible. We should not criticize so much. These persons are condemned by the supreme order of as much as a hog is condemned. The hog is interested in eating stool. If the hog is offered some nice presentation made of condensed milk or ghee, he won't like it. He would prefer obnoxious, bad smelling stool, which he finds very relishable. Materialistic persons are considered condemned because they are interested in hellish activities and not in transcendental activities. The message of Lord's activity is nectar, and besides that message, any information in which we may be interested is actually hellish. So this is a very nice point. It's actually hellish. Any other information, and whole internet is filled with unlimited amount of information, which is also hellish. Dakshinena pradharyam na pitralokam vrijanti te prajamanu prajanvanyante sam sananta kriya kritaha. Such materialistic persons are allowed to go to the hell called Pitraloka. Sorry, planet called Pitr, not hell. Go to the planet called Pitraloka by the southern course of the sun. But they again come back to this planet and take birth in their own families, beginning again the same fruitive activities for birth to end of the life. So sometimes they come in the same families, interestingly. They come back to the planet and take birth in their own families. Thus, the connection is continued. Life after life, they're in the same family. Grandmother is born again, grandfather is born again. So, one astrologer told about me also, I am my great grandfather or grandfather, I am born again. So, we are born in the same family sometimes. I don't know how much it is true, but one astrologer told for me also. Is also going again and again, coming in the same family. So it is stated that such persons are elevated in Bhagavad Gita, higher planetary system. As soon as their lifetime of fruitive activities are finished, they return to this planet and thus they go up and come down. Those who are elevated to higher planets again come back in the same family for which they have too much attachment. Maybe this is the reason. Too much attachment to the family, you come back again. They are born with the fruitive activities continue again until the end of life. There are different prescribed rituals for birth until the end of life, and they are very much attached to such activities. Tataste kshana sukra sukratha पुनर्लोकम् इमं सति पतन्ति विवशा देहि सद्य विभ्रम स्थितोदया. When the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they fall down to the higher arrangements and again come back to this planet, just as any person raised to the highest high position sometimes all of a sudden falls. So this is actually what happened. It is sometimes found that a person elevated to the very high position in government service falls down all of a sudden and no one can check him. Similarly, after finishing their period of enjoyment, foolish persons who are very much interested in being elevated to the position of president in higher planets also fall down to this planet. So that means you are Indra in last life, and this life again you are one simple person on the planet Earth. Indra's position is very, very big position. Whole three worlds are under your control. Anything you can do anytime. So it's very humbling. The distinction between the elevated position of a devotee and that of ordinary person attracted to fruitive activity is that when a devotee is elevated to spiritual kingdom, he never falls down. Whereas an ordinary person, even if he is elevated to higher planetary system, Brahmaloka, it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuvanar Loka. So they also will fall down. तस्मात् त्वं सर्वभूभावेन भजस्व परमेष्टिनं तद्गुणाश्रयया भक्त्या भजनीया पदाम्बुजम्. My dear mother, I therefore advise that you take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for his lotus feet are worth worshipping. Accept this with all devotion and love, for thus you can be situated in transcendental devotional service. So this is what Lord is telling. The word Parameshtinam is sometimes used in connection with Brahma. Parameshtim is the supreme person, as Brahma is the supreme person within the universe. Krishna is the supreme personality of God in spiritual world. Lord Kapaladev advised his mother that she should take shelter of lotus feet of supreme personality of God because it is worthwhile. Taking shelter of demigods, even those in the highest positions like Brahma and Shiva, is not advised hearing. One should take shelter of the supreme Godhead. So nobody can give shelter. Only person who can give shelter is Krishna. That's all. And we have to take shelter of Buddhi Bhava Buddha Bhava Samanvita. So this is also Krishna tells. We have to use our intelligence. One who has attained the stage of Bhava can accept the lotus feet of Krishna as worshipable. And Kapila is also like Shankaracharya, even though he preached so much of Mayavada philosophy, but when his mother was in last part of her life, and he gave her a benediction. Whenever you call me, I will come. And he comes to his mother when she is about to leave her body. And then he wanted to speak some philosophy. She said, I'm not understanding anything. Then he tells 10th can Krishna's pastimes. And can you imagine, like, the best thing, the closest person for Lord Shankara, for Shankaracharya is his mother only. Because for a sannyasi, there is no other relationship. Only relationship he can have is mother. And mother is the very closest person for him. And he would like to give the best thing to the mother, right? Because he knows that he could not take care of her whole life, then he will also feel that, okay, let me give her something very good. And what did he give? He gave Krishna Leela to her when she is about to leave her body. And it is not our saying. If you see any of the books of Shankaracharya written, even if you go to Sringeri Mutt, there the pastimes of Shankaracharya are depicted. And there you will see this is also there. Shankaracharya now speaking Krishna's Leela to his mother when she is passing away. That is there. So they also tell. But then our point is, okay, if you want to give the best thing to the most loved person, you want to give the best thing. And what did he give? Krishna's pastimes. That means they are the best thing. If all the teachings of Shankaracharya, what is the best thing is Krishna's pastime. Like that. Devotional service in full Krishna conscious only. So here Kapila is also giving best thing to mother. Is telling surrender to Krishna. The Shankaracharya is also telling surrender to Krishna. So for all acharyas, of course Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, they are obvious. They are going to give bhakti. But even Shankaracharya, who is an impersonalist, he is also giving the bhakti to his mother. That means it is the best thing for mothers, according to all acharyas. And and for everyone also. So the devotional service in full Krishna consciousness only means for attaining the highest perfection of life for the human beings. This is recommended herein by Lord Kapila to his mother. Bhakti is therefore nirguna, free from all tints of material qualities. Although the discharge of devotional service appear to be like material activity, it is never saguna or contaminated by material qualities. So this is what Lord is trying to teach. This is Lord's activities are transcendental and so sublime that there is no need to divert one's attention to any other activities. His behavior with devotee is so exalted that a devotee need not try to deviate his attention to any other worship. It is said that demoniac Putana came to kill Krishna by poisoning him, but because Krishna was pleased to suck her breast, she was given the position as a mother. So that's what Prabhupada is trying to explain. वासुदेवे भगवती भक्तियोगप्रयोजितः जनयस्यासु वैराग्यं ज्ञानं यद्ब्रह्मदर्शनम्. Engagement in Krishna consciousness and application of devotional service unto Krishna make it possible to advance in knowledge and detachment as well as in self-realization. So this is the conclusion he is giving. It is stated by less intelligent men that Bhakti Yoga or devotional service is meant for persons who are not advanced in transcendental knowledge and renunciation. But the fact is that if one engages in devotional service of the Lord in full Krishna conscious, he does not have to does not have to attempt separately to practice detachment or to wait for any an awakening to transcendental knowledge. So just start practicing, everything will work. And right, those who are very eager to advance in transcendental knowledge can engage themselves in pure devotional service without wasting time in mental speculation. You want knowledge? Do bhakti. You want siddhis? Do bhakti. Everything bhakti will work. For arriving at the positive conclusion of knowledge in absolute truth, the word Brahma Darshanam is significant in this verse. Brahma Darshanam means to realize or to understand the transcendence. One who engages in service of Vasudev can actually realize what is Brahma, what Brahma is. And then he says, Yadasya Chittam Arteshu Sam Yesh Indriya Vittibihi Na Vignanati Vaishamyam Priyam Apriyam Ityuta. The exalted devotee's mind becomes equipoised in sensory activities and is transcendental to that which is agreeable and not agreeable. So this is the what happens is the devotee becomes equipoised. Mind become equipoised in sensory activities. This is actually what when we get connected to Lord, our mind is very peaceful. is transcendental to which is agreeable and not agreeable. So both are very important. The significance of advancement, transcendental knowledge, and detachment from material attraction is exhibited in the personality of highest advanced devotee. He is like Sthita Prajna. For him, there is nothing agreeable or disagreeable because he does not act in any way for his personal sense gratification. Whatever he does, whatever he thinks, is for the satisfaction of personality of God, either in the material world or in the spiritual world. His equipoise mind is completely manifested. He can understand that in the material world there is nothing good. Everything is bad due to its being contaminated by material nature. The materialistic, very important, the materialistic conclusion of good and bad, moral and immoral, etc., are simply mental concoction or sentiment. Actually, there is nothing good in the material world. In the spiritual field, everything is absolute. So there is no imbarity in the spiritual variety. Because a devotee accepts everything in spiritual vision, he is equipoised. That is the symptom of being elevated to the transcendental position. And next shloka says Satadaivatmanatmanam Nissangam Samadarshanam Heyopadeya Rahitam Arudham Padam Aikshate. Because of his transcendental intelligence, the pure devotee is equipoised in his vision and sees himself to be uncontaminated by matter. He does not see anything as superior or inferior. He feels himself elevated to the transcendental platform of being equal in qualities with the Supreme Person. This is again and again the same point. Of course, is explained in different way, but the same point is explained. What happens is in transcendental intelligence. Here also in the previous shloka, it is told about his being equipoised, mind equipoised, transcendental to that which is agreeable, unagreeable. Here, transcendental intelligence, the pure devotee is equipoised in his vision. So here also about equipoised and sees himself to be uncontaminated by matter. So there is with the mind, here is with ego. So here what happens is generally mind has this I like, I don't like. Mind is I like, I don't like. So this is for the mind. So that's why when it came to mind equipoised, then is transcendental to which is agreeable and unagreeable. So he is not affected by I like, I don't like. Now when it comes to is in transcending intelligence, then what happens? He is able to see himself separate from matter. He does not see anything as superior or inferior. He feels himself elevated to the transcendental position of being equal in qualities with the Supreme Person. So here what is happening? It is with Buddhi. So Buddhi is purified. Then what happens? We don't see the distinction of inferior, superior, and we can see that how there is a difference. The living entity is separate, is uncontaminated. So this is at the level of buddhi. That was at the level of manas. So perception of agreeable and disagreeable arises with attachment. So this is with the mind from the previous verse. Agreeable and is from attachment. A devotee has no personal attachment to anything. Therefore, for him, there is no question of agreeable and unagreeable. So, manas is like always in an emotional state. It's like a liquid. Liquid is emotional. For the service of Lord, he can accept anything, even though it may be disagreeable for his personal interest. In fact, is completely free from personal interest, and thus anything agreeable to the Lord is agreeable to him. So, Arjuna at first, fighting was not agreeable, but when he understood that fighting was agreeable to the Lord, he accepted the fighting as agreeable. So now it is not I like, I don't like. It is what Lord likes, not I like, I don't like. So this we have discussed that this is actually called sinful mentality. The reason why I am in this material world is because of I like, I don't like, agreeable, not agreeable. But instead, if you say, okay, if nothing agreeable, it's not my personal interest, it is because Lord want it. That's why we do it. ज्ञानमात्रं परं ब्रह्म परमात्मेश्वरः पुमान् दृश्यादिभिः पृथग्भावैर्भगवान् एक ईयते. The Supreme Personality of Godhead alone is complete transcendental knowledge, but according to the different process of understanding, he appears differently, either as impersonal Brahman, as Paramatma, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or as Purushavatara. This is another point. Lord is transcendental, and process of understanding, he appears differently. So, like if you are applying the process of jnana, then he is impersonal. If yoga is Paramatma, is then bhakti is personality of Godhead or Purushavatara. So the based on the process, his understanding is different. So that's what Lord is telling. He appears differently based on what process we are going taking to approach him. The word drishya adibhi is significant. According to Jiva Goswami, drishya means jnana. Darshana is also to see. That's why. Philosophical research. By different process of philosophical research under different concepts such as process of jnana, the same Bhagavan or the personality of God it is understood as impersonal Brahman. Similarly, by eightfold yoga system, he appears as Paramatma. But in pure Krishna consciousness, he is realized as Bhagavan, like that. So the transcendence is realized simply on the basis of knowledge. The words used here, Paramatmeshwaraha, Puman, are all transcendental and they refer to super soul. Ultimately, to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one has to accept bhakti. By executing Jnana Yoga or Dhyana Yoga, one has to eventually approach the Bhakti Yoga platform and then Paramatma, Ishvara, Puman, etc. are clearly understood. And this is actually what Prabhupada is trying to explain in this purport. How different processes, different features. Next shloka says, Etavan eva yogena samagreneha yoginaha yunjate abhimato hi artho yad angastu krishnasaha. The greatest common understanding of all yogis is complete detachment from matter, which can be achieved by different kinds of yoga. So for them, yogis they think greatest common understanding of all yogis, even bhakti yogis also, to get detachment from water. And it is achieved by different kind of yogas. So we take bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, but ultimately they need to get detached from matter. So there are three kinds of yoga, namely bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, and ashtanga yoga. So they all try to get out of mental entanglement, and the yogi thinks that matter is false and that Brahman is truth. And thereby they cultivate knowledge. But whereas Ashtanga yogis, they try to control the senses. But devotees, however, try to engage the senses in the service of Lord. Therefore, it appears that activities of bhakta, devotees are better than those of jnanis and yogis. So this is how Prabhupada is concluding, because we are not trying to do like jnanis, saying that the detached from sense activities for mental entanglement. They think matter is false and Brahman is truth. So this is their method. Yogis, they try to control senses. For devotees, they engage the senses in the service of Lord. So they don't say matter is false. They don't say senses also. They don't try to control senses. But instead, they say actually matter is true and the senses should be engaged. Therefore, this process is easy compared to other two. That's the logic Prabhupada is giving. Because the mystic yogis simply try to control the senses by practicing the 8 divisions of yoga. The jnanis tried by mental reasoning to understand the that sense enjoyment is false. But the easiest and most direct process is to engage the senses in service of Lord. And Prabhupada writes, the purpose of all yoga is to detach one's sense activities from this material world. The final aim, however, are different. Jnanis want to become one with the Brahman effulgence, yogis want to realize Paramatma, and the devotees want to develop Krishna consciousness, transcendental, loving service to the Lord. ज्ञानम् एकं पराचीनैरिन्द्रियैर्ब्रह्म निर्गुणम् अवभात्य अर्थरूपेण भान्त्या शब्दः हि धर्मिणाम्. Those who are averse to the transcendental averse to transcendence realize the supreme absolute truth differently. So speculative sense perception, and therefore because of mistaken speculation, everything appears to them to be relative. So this is a very huge purport. So we will continue tomorrow. Thank you all very much. Oh, you have some questions. Yes, Prabhuji. Dear Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dhanatna. Prabhu, just one clarification. This equipoised mind for devotee, Prabhu, this refers to Nishtha stage?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, it is at the stage of Nishta. It is equipoised for us is that we see things in connection with Krishna. So there is a difference between equipoised of devotee and equipoised of a jnani. So we are also equipoised because when we see food items, when we see some nice objects of some very beautiful roses and all, we take it as, oh, so nice, we should be engaged in Krishna service, the bhoga should be given to Krishna. So in that way, that also considered equipoised. He is not seeing that object as an enjoyment. So for a jnani, equipoised is, he says, okay, it is neutral. I should not enjoy also, I should not reject also. He is in a neutral stage. So this is actually the main difference between for a devotee and for a jnani. So when you say equipoised, sthita prajna, for them it is different. But for us, it is nishtha, we can say. Yeah, that is correct.
Right. And Prabhu, when we say equipoised vision, and it is at the level of ego, so this stage is what? It is again at Nishtha level, or it is on higher side?
Yeah, here also what happens is they are all connected because you are equipoised in mind, you are equipoised in your buddhi also. There where we don't see the distinction between superior, inferior, and wherein when it comes to manas, I like, I don't like. When it comes to buddhi, then there is something called discrimination. Buddhi's main quality is discrimination, and the discrimination the mind does is that I am superior, he is inferior, this is inferior, this is superior. So this type of distinction is there. Like this is uh, I will attend this class, I will not attend that class. So that discrimination is done by buddhi. This will have more information, that will have more jokes, that will have. So that type of this is good for my progress. Any of that discrimination is with buddhi. So both will happen actually. Of course, we can have this buddhi before only. Equipoised in buddhi can be before then manas also. But at the stage of Nishtha, manas actually is more important for us to control. Buddhi we can have now also. The equipoised of buddhi can be before Nishtha also possible.
Right. Thank you very much. Then.
Thank you all very much. We'll end here.